Hey everyone, and welcome to RezoCast, episode 86. This is Lego, and I've got with me Mana and our special guest from Resolute this week, Wendler. What's up, Winnie? How's it going, man?
It's going good. How about yourself?
Oh, it's going. Thank you for asking. Oh my gosh, no one ever asked me how it's going for me. Whoa, I'm doing great, Wendler. I am loving the Warmind DLC. I know that there's been a lot of feedback on like the grind and stuff like that, but overall, I feel like everyone's pretty positive about it, and I'm like ridiculously positive about it. Not necessarily only for the Warmind stuff, but we talked about it, me and Hove, last week. But the seasonal stuff, like ranks and all this stuff to chase. So I'm doing fantastic. Doing a lot of comp. Got my sleeper stimulant. Got some other good stuff. Got that scout rifle from Anna, which I want to talk about later. But Mana, how are you doing, man? How's your week been?
I've also been playing a lot of Warmind, surprisingly. And I've also seen a lot of people in my chat when I go live. They have also jumped on the hype train and trying out Warmind. People I would never expect to try Destiny 2 again.
Wow.
Like, it's crazy. And yeah, this whole entire week, I've just been grinding out light levels so we can try to get stronger for the raid lair.
Nice. It's crazy how like you've jumped back into this one. You're saying people from your chat, like more so too, and like the Osiris DLC was like not that at all. Like not at all. What do you think is the difference between like the two?
I don't really know. Well, me personally, I thought Osiris was kind of like, it wasn't great. It wasn't, it was kind of eh. But this one, I don't know what it was, but it's just like PvE is drawing me back. I'm having a lot of fun PvE, and a lot of other people also are coming in and just liking PvE again. Maybe it's the fact that we took such a long break. Like a lot of people have taken a long break, and it's jumping back, and it's fresh again, new content, stuff to grind for, and the fact that like a lot of the people day one on the like Friday, the raid lair. We got crushed in the raid lair.
I want to hear about
everyone was saying, oh, it's probably going to be like 345. It's going to be the soft cap, you know. Like it was what? It was recommended light of what? 375?
Minimum 370. Minimum 370 to start. Yeah.
We were like 20 light levels.
Me and John were talking the night before we talked to everyone in the group chat. John is no time, by the way, in case the listeners don't know.
He was on a few weeks ago for those listening.
And we were joking, and we're like, yeah, you know, it's probably going to be like 340 or 350. And then I think it was Joe Gogoroth tweeted, and he's like, when everyone thinks we dropped the light level at 340 for the raid. And I was like, that is so true, because we totally said that. And quote.
Everybody. Everyone probably thought it was just like, oh my gosh. But like the fact that it's so hard makes you want to work harder.
Yeah.
It's definitely, for those that haven't played it, it's definitely, I would say, the best raid to start from the like at this time. Like I cannot name a raid currently in the Destiny universe that starts as strongly as Spire of Stars does.
Yeah, really.
Yes,
I'm still blind. I haven't seen it yet, and so I won't
give specific details. But in terms of mechanics needed to start, like it's not like stressful mechanics like King's Fall was, where you're like, crap, like if I mess up I'm dead. I mean, it's close, like you can kind of save it, but just in terms of the way the lair is set up, like Mana can probably agree to this, it's just so involved. Like I don't know how else to explain it. It's just really fun.
You got to pay attention. You're running around trying to protect your allies because there's just swarms and swarms of enemies. Like
it's probably,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's probably the first raid where you actually need roles, ironically. Where you need a DPS guy, you need someone to clear ads, you need people to kind of multitask, and it's really cool how it all comes together.
Yeah, dang man, you got me pumped. I'm like really excited to go in because that's how I felt. I like really liked the last raid lair, jumping into that, and so you got me really pumped to jump into this one. And I haven't seen anything. Like I thought about watching the race. But I was like, I don't know. I kind of want to like experience it for myself because it's so cool to go into the first time and like not know anything. And I wasn't free like at the time that it dropped to go do it. So I'm pretty pumped to jump in now that Mana's hyped it up that way.
It's a challenge. It starts off really challenging, and we like it. That's what we want. You know, we want something to work towards. And yeah, it's just I've been grinding out PvE very hard, very hard.
Yeah,
like,
our whole original group is just going to town in PvE right now.
It's just Hovey. Hovey actually made a Titan, and I just ran through the OG campaign with him and Gunga. They both made a Titan to try to keep on ranking up, and it's crazy. Like just a few days ago, I actually ran through Arceus finally jumped back on. He wanted to try it out, and we ran through Osiris and the Warmind with him and Gunga. And yeah, I just been going through the campaigns, so it's just like it's a fresh feeling. It's fun, and I just really want to complete the raid lair. It kicked my ass, and now I'm salty about it.
That's cool that there's an incentive there, because I haven't gotten that push yet to do that. But even like outside of the raid, there's all this other PvE stuff to chase, like weapons and like nodes to go and collect, and getting that exotic sword or sleeper. And there's stuff that's popping up not even the day it launched, but like this week, when reset hit and that quest came up for Anna's scout rifle, and you're like, oh, what is this? And everybody's talking about it and everybody's trying to complete it. And I did the adventures, I completed all the adventures on one character and had to go back on my Titan because that was like my main, and had gotten up to the quest. And I was like, oh crap, I need to do all the adventures on this character so that I can go and do that heroic adventure to get the scout rifle. And that PvE content was like really good. Like doing the heroic strike that you have to do, or heroic adventure to get that scout rifle, was like super challenging solo with the modifiers, the disadvantages that you had on it. I forgot what it was. It was like basically you had to keep running the whole time, and your melee did a ton of damage, but nothing else. And it was like a lot of fun. Like, and I'm not a huge PvE person, but it was like just the right amount of challenging. Had a huge reward at the end of it for completing all that stuff. I thought it was really, really fun.
Right, here's something. You actually just confirmed something for me, because I was confused on how like everyone was talking about the scout rifle. I didn't realize it just opened up.
Yeah.
I was just like, everyone's
it's a 5-part.
Yeah, it's like everyone's just talking about the scout rifle out of the blue. Like, am I missing something? Like, I didn't realize. Like, someone says like, "Oh, it's an adventure." I'm just like, "Oh, okay." It's just not getting it. Like,
yeah,
it's a 5-part quest line. So last week was 1 out of 5, and then you do like the 5 steps, and then it closed. So then this week 2 out of 5 opened, and if you notice, the next time you go to Mars, there's 5 data consoles lined up right next to Anna Bray.
Oh, yeah.
So that, plus it says 2 out of 5. So that kind of...
I was wondering, okay. You cleared up something for me now then, Wendler, because I was wondering, like, what does this 2 out of 5 mean? Is there like 5 steps to get the scout rifle?
I think it's more lore-based for lore people too, but each one you go to the next data console, and then you get another diary entry about whatever happened when Anna was originally alive or something along those lines, so...
Damn. I need to jump on that, apparently.
Yeah.
It's the scout. I would also say, if you haven't used the scout, it's probably it's a high impact scout, but it's probably one of the most stable high impact scouts I've used in the game. It feels really good to use.
So Wendler, here's something about that scout rifle too that was really interesting. I think I was talking about it with Papa Bear or Wilson, I can't remember, but the scout rifle has it's set up like an exotic. It doesn't have multiple perks to choose from. It just has set perks. And so we were talking about like maybe it's going, as the quest goes on, maybe it's going to turn into an exotic and have some other.
Well, the exotic scout, I forget, the Polaris Lance is what it's called.
Okay.
So the Polaris Lance is already, like, you can see the ornament and everything. But I assume at this point, the final part of the quest, it will turn into the exotic Polaris Lance.
Nice. That'll be cool.
So it's like the first, like, between this and the sleeper, it's like the first step, I guess the exotic sword too, in them re-implementing exotic quest lines or exotic bounties. Because there's more supposedly coming in the future.
Yeah.
But this is clearly the first step in them doing that, which I think they did a really good job with.
Cool.
Overall,
I was curious how y'all felt about that, because I've heard a lot of complaints recently. And it's funny because no matter what Bungie does, they can't win every person over because everybody likes a different kind of grind. But I was listening to like some other content creators, and they were talking about how they don't like this forced grind of like it's taking longer to do stuff with the milestones or forced, time gated content stuff. But to me, like I personally really like the way this grind is laid out and how there's all this seasonal stuff you can go for at any point, whether it's PvE or PvP. And then you've got these random quests that are lined up for you to do within this expansion. And then you've got the slow light level grind, like Mana was talking about, that's making you want to go do content so you can go do the raid and stuff later. And I feel like it's like, for me, as like an above average time spent on the game person, it feels like in a really good spot. But for somebody who plays the game a whole lot, maybe is where people are getting upset. I heard people upset about like that the raid was too hard, and that the light level, like they wanted to do the raid, but they couldn't. And so they were frustrated that they couldn't compete in the raid race the day of, and only people who really grinded. Like, where are y'all at with all that? Are y'all okay with where it's at?
I can see where they're coming from. At the same time, I think it's for Destiny 2 at the moment. I think it's good to have a slow grind at the moment, since there's still Bungie's still in the process of like releasing their new stuff, with their new formulas and stuff for Destiny. I think it's okay. I have a couple gripes about the slow grind though, like for Escalation Protocols. Yeah. I kind of wish you don't. Okay, so you don't get any loot until like the third wave.
And then wave 3 is a chance. Wave 5 is guaranteed.
But
like, weapons are always chance.
You actually get a chest though at wave 3 or whatever.
Yes.
And most of the time you'll probably get like 2 tokens and a blue. For something that hard, I kind of feel like you should be given something to at least like a small, like an increased chance to get something that might boost your light level. There's something like that. Like I kind of wish like Escalation Protocol, you can use that. Like it's supposed to be, I think it's supposed to be end game. It's supposed to be hard. But at the same time, I kind of wish like you don't have a lot of ways, because it's such a slow grind now to get higher light level quickly. So I kind of wish you can use Escalation Protocol as a way to help grind your way to further end game.
Okay, yeah.
So,
well, they did mention in the TWAB, which we'll probably get to, that they're working on heroic strikes. They realize that heroics, because right now heroic strikes do not drop any. I think they cap at 340.
340, yeah.
So if you're,
really?
Yeah. So if you're like 365 plus, like us, Mana, we have no benefit in grinding heroics. So he said they're working on adjusting that out.
So except for the milestone, there's really no need.
There's no point to bother grinding it repeatedly. But I mean, overall, it's like, I wish certain aspects like Mana just mentioned, where either Escalation Protocol or any heroic public event, you need to give more than 2 tokens.
Yeah, it's just something
it does not make, I mean, let alone all these rare planet materials you come across or gunsmith telemetry. Why does these materials that are so rare that you need to turn in planet vendors increase the bar by like 1%, but a token you can farm from chests gives you 5 to 10% on that progress bar? That also doesn't make sense to me.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah,
because if you're going to farm on a planet, which the one thing I do applaud Vicarious for is providing that planet incentive grind.
Oh yeah,
which is the one thing I've talked about on here before that I wish planets had from the start, where each planet had its own grind that you would have to do and progress with. But these tokens and these rare planet materials, they need to give some type of incentive, because right now it's like, cool, I did a heroic. Outside of doing the flashpoint, there's no advantage you get. You might as well just pump out normal public events and never farm planet materials, because there's no real gain to grinding that.
It's more like just like, as you run by, grab it. Like,
it's like it's here. Yeah. But I mean, in terms of the raid being where it's at, I think that's fine.
I think the raid staying hard is good.
Yeah, like we did it at like 355, I think was our average, and it opened at 370, and we got through to the final room. I think that's fine. You get power checked, you leave, you come back. In terms of escalation, like Mana said, I wish it'd be a little bit better leveling if you made it as like a team of 4, which escalation had its own issues we can probably touch on later.
I want to critique that quite a bit later on.
Oh yeah.
But in terms of overall, like, I guess scaling, I think a lot of it is better. Like, the PvE grind in this DLC is so much more fulfilling than it was in Curse of Osiris, because there's so much more you can put time into and you can progress. And I know some people hate time locked quests, and I was telling Tux the same thing, because he was kind of picking our minds about time gated quest lines. And the one thing that irritated me in D1 was when you had a time gated quest where it'd be like dismantle 5 blues, and then you'd have to wait a whole week. Like, why?
But after you did the 5 blues,
yeah.
All right, I can see that as being annoying. I would agree.
But with this, this 1 out of 5, you're doing 5 different things. So even if, not even to argue for the casual, but like, let's just say you don't have enough time, it's still something for you to do every day. And it's not as simple as delete 4 blues, now wait till Gunsmith Arms Day for you to get your Telelock or whatever you needed.
Yeah,
you had to wait a whole week for that. So I think this fits it a lot better. It makes it a lot more useful. But other than that, like, I don't really have any major complaints outside of stuff we'll probably mention later.
Yeah, nice.
I would say, like, I don't really have complaints as the matter of like what they have built, they could build further on to improve.
Yeah,
which is a lot.
Yeah,
which is a lot about what the TWAB is about. They were like, one of the things they said in there, which we'll get to as well, is they were like, we didn't maybe we didn't spell it out as well as we should have, that a lot of this expansion is like stepping stones still. Like, these aren't final things. September is going to be, which we've said before in expectation for this podcast. We're like, we don't think this is the thing that's going to bring everyone back, but this is like the foundational building block towards that. And you can really feel that. And to me, it's like, man, it's really bringing like me into play all the time. But I can see how for some people it's like, yeah, this is close, but we're not quite there yet, So before we do jump into the TWAB, or even talk, I did want to get into Escalation Protocol and talk about all that stuff too. Since Wendler and Mana, we haven't got y'all's opinion on the DLC as a whole. Do y'all want to just give y'all's impressions? I'd love to hear like what you think of, how the story was for you, what you think about the seasonal stuff, and what you think about all the quests we've been given and everything.
Want to go first, Wendler?
Yeah, I'll go first. I was like, who's gonna do it?
We can't, for those listening, we can't see Wendler right now, and so we're like, is he gonna talk?
Am I secret? Am I secret or not? In terms of, I guess I'll just go through each major point without providing spoilers for those that haven't played in-game activities. Campaign.
Well, here we go. We're gonna give story spoilers. If you haven't played the story, just go play your game for 30 minutes and come back and you can listen.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, solved. Done. Yay. So the campaign, I didn't really have high expectations for, to be honest, because I knew, based on the DLC we got in D1, like House of Wolves, it was short. And I knew that the baseline for the DLC was more depth for middle to end game. So I knew that was coming. But the campaign was cool. It was interesting for what it was. Like I said, I didn't go in with high expectations. I know some people wanted more, but I was looking to get past that anyway. The weapons, a lot of the new weapons to grind for with the sleeper nodes. If you didn't know, to get the Clovis Bray Tech weapons, you have to grind the sleeper nodes.
Yeah.
I think that grind, which includes like public events, strike farming, etc., is really fun and really entertaining to do.
Especially if you don't use guides. Like, if you just do it on your own, it's pretty rewarding.
Yeah. The quest lines, like the sleeper quest line, the Clovis Bray quest line is a huge step forward. And it's like they took a huge step from just the Osiris Armory, where instead of just here blindly farm 30 public events and hope you get the material, it's more direct and refined. And I guess the over term would be goals. It's more goal centric, which everyone loves goals. Everyone loves completing goals, The Escalation Protocol is super challenging. I would say it's probably the most fun. I was going to say funnest, and knew everyone would rip me for that. But it's probably the most fun PvE mode. Like, we got me, Mana, and 8 other guys together, and we actually found someone in the sector itself that was a TV sub.
Oh, nice!
Yeah, surprisingly, yeah,
that's so cool.
He joined up on us, and we were running 9-man escalation for like 2 or 3 hours. I would say, right, Mana? Roughly, maybe. And it was like none of us care. Like we would get smacked at like round 4, and we'd be like, "All right, let's do it again. All right, let's do it again," because it was just fun. It was just so chaotic. Destiny, Bungie, Vicarious. This is definitely something to improve on. Which we'll go into depth later, I'm sure. And then the raid, like I said earlier to start the podcast, the raid is probably one of the most fun starts to a raid I've experienced.
Challenging.
Yeah, in a long time.
Like difficulty, which is a good thing though.
Yeah, it's not like Crota's End where you just casually go in and you're just like, oh, okay, we got to progress. It's not like Wrath of the Machine where you're kind of just like, I mean, it's close to Wrath of the Machine, I would say. It's a little bit, but a little bit more challenging than Wrath was. Wrath was a little bit more of like, all right, fun, let's do this, we're gonna wreck this. But with that power cap hitting you so hard. Is what made the difference.
Wow.
But yeah, like I said, it's probably one of the most fun I've had raiding in a long time. And it's just the coolest thing I would say about this DLC is you can tell everyone loves the PvE depth.
Yeah.
There are plenty of people that have come back and like we have a regular raid team weekly now. Like everyone's come back just raiding weekly together to get this level up. So
dude, my friends list is huge right now. Like it was so empty at the end of Curse of Osiris. Just the whole Curse of Osiris in general, it died off really quickly, and people are always on doing something now. It's crazy.
It's nice seeing the clan friends list. That's just so many people playing now.
I would argue that Curse of Osiris was Dark Below. Same thing. Like we're just repeating history pretty much at this point. And House of Wolves is probably equally comparable to that of Warmind, which bodes well for what September could be. So hopefully September brings everything to the table. But this DLC is definitely a huge step forward, I would argue, because I was in the same place a lot of people. I was like, man.
Yeah. Well, before Mana goes, I just want to say for me, like I feel like this is even above House of Wolves. Like especially the PvE side of it. House of Wolves to me, like for some reason turned me off to PvE, like particularly like just their in game there. They didn't have the raid, and instead it was just the Prison of Elders. And this is like a lot more than that, not just in scope of Prison of Elders compared to the raid and Escalation Protocol, although I do enjoy these more, but also in terms of all the different quest lines and stuff. It feels like some of the Taken King, was thrown into this with the way the quest lines were designed. And I even like these quest lines more than the Taken King ones, because like the gathering like Hardium flakes for exotic sword like was a drag to me. Whereas finding these like musical nodes was actually really interesting and made me like explore and wonder like, what does this thing do that I got? It brought the mystery of the Taken King, but without the really grindy thing that I don't like doing as much. So I really, really enjoyed it. Man, what do you think about everything?
All right, so I'm just going to go through it like Wendler did and what I think. So campaign, of course, it's going to be a DLC campaign. You can't expect it to be like too long, too amazing, but like the whole what you fought and what you had to go through, I thought it was pretty neat. And when it ended, I was like, no, that's not going to be it. And it was like, it was it. I was just like, oh man.
I did the same thing.
Honestly, I was like, was that it? Was that it? Oh, okay. Well, I guess, okay. That was with UNTV, wasn't it, Wendler, when we went through it? And you guys were just like, it's a DLC campaign, it's not going to be long. I was like, crap, dude. Like,
the only
spot, I want more of that. I thought it was really neat what direction they took and what we had to battle. And going through that, there's those music boxes, and then there's those data caches, or what are they called?
Caches,
which are littered everywhere. And that kind of reminded me of like trying to find the ghosts. No, they made me think of like the back in D1, the ghosts.
The ghosts, yeah.
So they're secretly placed. They're small little things that you had to use the right element to also destroy them. Which, by the way, Borealis. If you're hunting those down, Borealis is amazing.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Borealis is or Hardlight. Like now that Hardlight's changed.
Hardlight, that'd be
Hardlight is really good too.
I didn't have Hardlight. I had Borealis, and it was just one shot with whatever. But those it was really reminiscent of just trying to go around and find collectibles, which like Destiny didn't have for the longest time, and I missed that. I missed those little teeny things. So for a DLC campaign, I thought it was pretty decent. I thought it was pretty good. Maybe one of their better ones even. And Escalation Protocols, they have something really nice that they can really build on. So you go in 3-man, or you can find a so the 9-man. That's the thing. You have the potential to have a 9-man squad. It can be rough, especially now that everyone's trying to do it. Like a couple days ago, we tried after the first day with Wendler. What was it, like Tuesday night? It was like, Wendler and everyone, like Hovey and everyone, we tried to do it.
Yeah.
Somehow, Wendler found Fury on the opposite side of the United States within like the first 10 minutes.
What?
Yeah, we were just doing in and out, and me and Mana were trying to find each other. And then all of a sudden, I look, I'm like about to leave because I got the roster open. And I saw Fury's name pop up. I was like, Fury, no.
And he was like, Fury's like, don't leave. So we got lucky. We got in there pretty quickly. It's just poor Hovey. We had to wait on poor Hovey to actually finish the campaign. You actually can't get the rewards unless you finish the campaign.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. He's like, man, I got to finish it. So we had to wait a little bit. But other than that, 9-man, they have something really interesting that they can work on right now. Escalation Protocol is very challenging. It is definitely endgame. I kind of wish the first few waves can kind of give you better loot to help you get to, like, maybe if it's just like once per reset, like you get something great per
just
each thing.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah. Because you reach that level 3 and you can potentially get something good. If you don't get something potentially good, then you only get 2 tokens and like a blue, I think is the best thing I got.
Kind of like if they set it up the way like Trials was, maybe, where Trials, you complete it and you guarantee when you talk to the different people on your way up, the Trials thing, once you get there at the end and turn in all your tokens, before you even turn in your tokens, you just talk to the different ladies, and at like 3, 5, and 7, you get stuff,
like
and then the more Trials you play, you can still get stuff with your tokens, but you guaranteed get it at these steps. And so it's like if once a week you got at 3 a guaranteed one or something like that, and then the more you played it, you have a random chance to get.
They could definitely build an area
built on that. It's like the area that it's. Oh, you mean just like something like Aspire for you to go?
To finish. They could probably do that. Yeah,
that'd be pretty nice. Huh. But like as of right now for Escalation Protocol, like it's like I said, it's really hard. I don't know if they're expecting us to link up with blueberries and or try to link up with your friends at the moment, because like for at least console, there's not a lot of great ways to communicate with everyone. So it would be kind of nice if they can work on maybe like treat it like a raid system where you can fly into that area, maybe like its own thing you can click on in the menu is like Escalation Protocol, and then everyone flies down.
That'd be cool.
It'd be kind of cool. Maybe like instead of like a 6-man where the raids are, maybe a full PlayStation party 8-man at least. And everyone can go down at once and fight together. Because right now it's 9-man. Yeah. You have to get lucky match. And then you got to hope that a Blueberry has his notifications on. Message him. That bait him in. He's like, you want to play? Yeah, you can play with us as long as we get our couple friends in, So it's kind of like that, because it took us 2 or 3 hours the other day to try to finally get something going.
Yeah, it was a period. I mean, like...
And it's not the night that we were doing. It was a day or two after. It wasn't yesterday. It was the day before.
That was
yesterday,
when you were doing with Kim and company.
Yeah. We invited everyone. We only had 6 at the time, and then we ended up adopting Kim because Kim spawned in next to me, and she wasn't even in our party or anything. I'm just like, oh my god, it's Kim. I think it's her. And then I checked. It's like, it is her. We can like grab her and invite her. And then Bones and Wolves, she was the party leader. She was AFK, so she couldn't invite Kim to the party. And then I got kicked to orbit.
Oh
no! Everyone kind of just lost it at that point because it was like an hour and a half into trying. So we eventually came back and we eventually found each other. But then we were trying to get the last blueberry. We just needed to invite a blueberry to get the third thing in. And we're just inviting people after people. No one was answering or anything. There's one guy who was just running around, shooting up in the air. I'm just like, that might be a kid. I don't know. Like that might be a child just like playing around. It's like, this is triggering. And we finally got someone. We invited him in. He was all the way. We were in the bottom spawn point, wherever that I forget what it's called. And the guy was in our list. He joined the party, and I asked him, "He's like, yeah, you want to join us? Yeah, okay, yeah, that's cool." And I was looking around, like, where are you? He was all the way in Braytech. So when everyone joined, he was in the different area, but he was in our list. So when they couldn't come over to our instance. We're like, oh,
what?
Are
you
serious?
That's what some guy did.
Yep.
I don't think you were with us, Mana, but it was like me, TV, Hovey, Fury, and a few other guys. And so I finally get this guy to respond, joins the party, and it was when we were waiting for. It might have been the first time we tried it, Mana.
Was it the first time?
Yeah, and so we were waiting. This guy joins the party, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm down." And I'm like, "All right, we're just waiting for our two friends to finish the strike, and then they'll be back. So we'll just kill, shit in the meantime." He's like, "All right." So this guy, I feel so bad, leaves the instance and goes to Braytech.
Oh, you told me that was before we joined. That was before we joined.
So he leaves and goes to Braytech, and I look at the roster. I'm like, "Are you not here anymore?" and he's like, "Oh." And it
I remember that. I remember that.
It just killed the whole thing, and we tried our hardest. Cause he only lives like 2 hours away from me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we tried so hard. He's like, because he was in Ohio, and I'm like, this ain't gonna work. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah,
in my head, I'm like, why did you leave the instance?
Well, this is a tip for everyone that is trying to just don't leave the instance.
Yeah, just the zone. Do not leave the zone. Whatever you
a lost sector, do not leave.
Anything. You stay in that area.
That's
because
crazy.
but our instance was the dude wasn't in our area. He was all the way across, but he appeared in the lobby, like the list of names. So I just debated the crap out of him. So we felt bad. We're like, dude, we're sorry. But luckily he actually stuck around. And he stuck around in the party. Like half of us was in Discord, half of us was in the party because we got another blueberry and he stayed, but then he can only stay for a little bit. So eventually the other guy was able to join up on us. So that was nice. We actually got him in for a little bit. But it's like if you can build on that, make it to where a whole group of us can spawn in to Escalation Protocol because it is a challenge. It is rough right now.
Yeah,
especially for people that don't get to grind a lot. Like that could be a really huge challenge.
Yeah,
it'll just be a really fun. I'm sorry for cutting you off. It'd be really because it's just chaotic fun. You got enemies coming swarming you. You got these big buff guys just coming in, and you just got to pay attention. And then finally, at the end of the wave, you got the final bosses or whatever. Yeah. It's just chaos. It's just craziness, and it's just really fun. It's just getting everyone together to actually take on everyone.
That's cool.
Yeah,
so what were you saying?
Sorry. Tux was saying that the end goal is to have a 3-man fire team be able to do the whole thing.
Oh boy,
three max level people could finish,
which makes sense.
Level 1 through 7, which is why I wouldn't if they were to make because a lot of people asked in Curse of Osiris after that one adventure they're make a horde mode where you have to guard the center conflux from all the hive coming in. You remember that one?
Yeah.
And so everyone's asking for horde mode, so we got escalation now in September. If they could go one step further and make a specific zone you fly into,
that would be cool.
And just have it so that way you're not capped to the 3-man fire teams that you are right now on planets because that's probably something locked in the code. They can't change that.
Yeah.
So if they make it to where you take an 8-man team, or 10-man or whatever, you can fly in and then everyone's together.
Team. How cool would that
be? If you could, because
that would be the crazy thing. How they're teasing in September, a whole new game mode or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
What if they bring in a big team PvE,
12-man,
something raid or something? What if they accept more of the MMO side of Destiny and just it's just 24-man raid or something,
Oh my gosh.
Because escalation,
how crazy would that be?
We were saying, it's grindable. You don't care if you lose. If you lose, you want to go right back in. So if you take, I think privates cap at 12 people, allow 12 people or 10 people, whatever, to fly into an instance, and you just start it. And then there's a vendor located on whatever you load into. You can cash your rewards in. That is something really huge you can capitalize on. And it's there
because it's really rough right now. Maybe it's just because the light level, being so low than some of the enemies is just that much more intense than it used to be. Yeah, maybe that's the reason why. Maybe we just gotta grind up and 3-manning will be easy, and then we can just grind with blueberries. But we have the potential to grind with a bunch of friends, and I think just maybe starting out with just the full PSN party of the 8.
Yeah, 8 would be fine. Yeah,
I think that'd be perfect. That would be so nice.
I got a question for y'all because I asked Tove last week kind of what he thought, and I'm curious for y'all because I was worried that, you know how Bungie hypes up stuff and you're like, oh, yeah, it's probably all right. Because we had Archon's Forge, we had Court of Orcs, we had Prison of Elders, all these different iterations. And I was kind of like, man, they're hyping up this Escalation Protocol like it's in game. And everything in the past has kind of been like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. And I, like, as someone who hasn't done any like 9-man version of it or anything, I've just gone in with like 3 people and then a bunch of blueberries and tried to do it. And we got to like the end of level 2, but it was really fun. And for me, it was kind of like that experience that you were talking about, the raid mana, where it's like, man, it was really tough and I'm really under leveled, but I feel like I want to get better so that I can get better at that thing. You know, and so I have that desire to get a higher light and get better PvE stuff to go and do it and think about my strategies and everything. And so I'm really into it that way. And I feel like it really hasn't disappointed me. It's been like this, wow, this really is a big deal thing. You know, how is it for y'all? Do y'all feel like it's lived up to the hype that Bungie has made out Escalation Protocol to be?
I would say yes.
Yeah, for an expansion.
It doesn't feel as boring as Kurt of War.
Poor Kurt. He's just trying to do his job, man.
It doesn't feel as bland as Court of Orcs did. I mean, Archon's Forge was like okay because there's still loot, but Court there wasn't really anything for you to gain. But
and it was just like a small area too. And this,
and there was a huge intro. Like you could do, I don't know, 1 to 2 things of Court of Orcs without needing to instance queue with your buddies.
Oh yeah, there's a build. Yeah.
So like with this, since it minimums at 370 the same way the raid does, and it scales up, like I think level 3 or 4 it goes up to 380, 385. Actually, I think level 4, level 5 is 385, which is the max light level.
Jeez.
What did we get to? We
got
barely beat 4.
We got real close to finishing level 5. But we screwed up because we burned that minute looking for that final Shadow Rift.
Oh, yeah. We messed up. We didn't realize there's one last Shadow Rift to stand
you know
on.
what a Shadow Rift is, right, Lego?
Yeah.
So the instance we got for wave 5, there was 3.
Oh.
We didn't pay attention, so we wiped the first 2 easily.
And then we're just kind of slaying all the smaller ads, and we're like,
what are we missing? And then we got to the final boss, had him literally down. Like if we would have had that extra minute, we would have cleared wave 5.
I think we had him down to like we took out 75% of his health or something like that.
Yeah, we had
we only had like 50 seconds.
Yeah.
Do you know what would be a really nice like token or something to have is a like, oh, we messed up, like, but we've done it so many times, we've earned this token that lets us like put it in one of Rasputin's things, and it lets you redo that round. Just like start on that round.
Here's actually the nice thing. I forgot to mention, but like, when you fail, you only go back 1.
Oh, okay.
So
it's not actually that bad in that sense.
Yeah, well, cool.
As long as you start it fast enough, you can you restart.
Wait, you have like a minute, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've like, only gotten to level 2, so I always went to level 1 no matter what.
Yeah.
It's punishing in the sense that light level and everything is so like it's rough, you know. It's like these enemies will annihilate you, but it's forgiving in a way. Is like, okay, you got obliterated, you can start off just 1 back. So that's not that bad. So the take on, well, I'm still kind of giving my review here. Like I gotta fly through real quick. In a sense of like I didn't mean to stay on.
No, it's good. I'm glad we talked about it. It's interesting.
So rating that, it has a lot of potential to become even something greater than it is. It's already entertaining. It's just, I guess you said, like Tux confirmed that they're trying to focus on the 3-man to get through all waves, like 7 waves, but has potential to bring in more players. I think they should focus on that, even if they increase the difficulty.
Yeah.
To correspond with that. But yeah, Escalation Protocol, really good start on something. What else am I missing? The raid starting hard is a good thing. It gives people a long-term grind to work towards instead of starting off easier, people flying through, and then it's just an over and over grind of finishing the raid, getting whatever, potentially like it's like, oh, I didn't get what I want again. But now it's just like, oh, I don't even have anything yet from it because I haven't beat it yet.
Yeah.
I think that's a good part right now. So it's forcing people is like, I got to get better. Like, you know, I have to do more stuff to get a higher light level. So I think that is a really good spot right now, especially since like we're coming off of a very long, like gap of like people not wanting to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're starting to stepping stones of people wanting to come back, and now Bungie's giving us more, to try to work towards leading up to September, which is supposed to be like the biggie.
Yeah.
So everything right now is, I think it's in a good spot.
Yeah, which is amazing because I felt like going into this, we all on the podcast were like, yeah, Warmind's going to be good for those who enjoy it right now, but it's not really going to bring people back. But as far as what I'm hearing from the community is a lot of people have come back. I don't know how long they'll stay, but everyone is like trying it out and they've regained a lot more interest than like Curse of Osiris had.
It's one thing we didn't really talked about that's also included in the DLC is ranked.
Yes. Dude, ranked. I wanted to get y'all's opinion on ranked and like the rewards from both ranked stuff and Valor, and then also you've got Vanguard stuff has ranked, not ranked, but you
can level it up to get
seasonal rewards.
So
seasonal rewards. There you go.
That in the sense of seasonal rewards, I think that's pretty good. That gives you extra stuff to work at. Zavala is asking for a lot of levels for the last exotic ship,
dude, and a lot of people have it from all that Nightfall grinding.
From the Nightfall weapon grind, you'll get it real fast.
What is the Nightfall weapon?
So
this week is real quick is a Braytech Osprey. It's a Sins of the Past copy. So
is it though? Because I was talking with somebody today who said that because I was talking with Wilson, I think, and he said Briar Rabbit got that rocket from doing something else, and that's not the confirmed weapon for
unless loot is combined from some other point. It's because it's not available from the Clovis Bray engrams.
Yeah,
I had several people on like Twitter and eMoney who was just raiding and doing the Nightfall with me and Hovey.
Yeah,
got it as a reward from the Nightfall.
Huh. Okay.
So.
Yeah, I heard multiple reports like you could get it from the Nightfall or you might get it from somewhere else, and so it just sounded so ominous the way that I think it was either Cosmo or Dylan tweeted out from Bungie. They were like, "There is a Nightfall reward this week," and everybody was like, "Black Spindle, what's going on?"
That's the thing that is confusing everyone. Since we're on the topic of rewards, is there's two new Nightfall strikes. The one is PlayStation exclusive, so we'll probably not see a drop for it, or it'll be like a combined loot table or something.
Yeah.
But there's the two rewards, so we know this Osprey is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But they found the Black Spindle catalyst in the API, along with every other exotic catalyst. So everyone's kind of raising their hands now, going, "When's the Spindle coming?" Because I would assume by now, if it was a bonus to the Nightfall, someone would have found it.
You would think
maybe it's going to be one of those timed.
It's got to be a timed exclusive or a timed exotic quest,
or do you think they're going to be? It's going to be one of those timed secret quests that we actually have to find, like it was previously.
Maybe that's an adventure. It could be an adventure.
I really hope that it's one of those things where you just so happen one person out, playing is just like, what's this? Go over there. Yeah. It's like, it's a whole different. I'm going to keep going to figure it out.
I want that.
It's really hard again.
Yeah,
Blacksmith want that. That would be amazing if they bring it back.
Yeah, if it was an adventure, like some side path, that'd be sick.
I can see kind of people is like, oh, they just copied it from D1, but that's what I think we want more of that sort of stuff. Just secrecy, like out of nowhere. Like, what is this? Let's go a little further.
Yeah. Oh, we got off topic. We were talking about ranked and all the reward stuff.
Ranked rewards.
How did you want to
just what general?
I grinded a little bit more than you have, but I don't think the opinions differ.
It's weird because I've been all up in PvE.
Really?
Yeah.
From playing I played with TV 2 different times, and then on and off with different groups of people. Which Lego, we're gonna play some comp after this, right?
Oh yeah.
But I think the rewards are good. I know there's a lot of concern, which we can probably just segue into Derek Carroll and the TWAB, probably.
Yeah.
His comments about it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about just our general stuff right now, and we'll move on to that in a second.
But I mean, just real quick then, so we can get to that, because it would probably be better for that. I think the rewards are good. A lot of the weapons are solid. The new SMG is the new aggressive archetype. It's really fun. It's got its niche, where you got to be in someone's face But if you're running like a Grav, Lance, and then SMG is your primary, it's got real good synergy with each other. And a lot of the other weapons, like there's a quick play pulse for rank 3. It's solid. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. It's a solid pulse. So I think they did really good with the rewards, and it's showing good promise for the future if they plan to continue down this route. So,
what do you think, Mana?
Like Wendler said, I didn't get to play too much, but from what I see, it could be. I don't really know how to put it because I feel like I'm behind. Like I haven't grinded too much. Yeah. I haven't got to the point where I kind of got to the point where we're finding better players, because up until a certain rank, it was kind of like for ranked. It was almost like a joke at first.
Yeah, like me, you, and TV just farmed people that day.
Yeah, or like everyone's solo up against us. We're a stacked format team. It's like, what is this? And then we finally got to the point where like I was playing with Norse. I forget who I was. Norse, Crow, and a couple others. And out of the blue, we finally found like a full team that knows what they're doing. They were in my chat too, you know. I was just like, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, I'm going to try out the fighting line, whatever it's called. You know, it's just like, why not? And then these guys just like destroyed us, and we're like, oh my god, this is the first time it's happened so far in rank. I wasn't expecting that, you know. Yeah. They're coming in, they're like, oh, sorry for playing the meta. We've been playing sweats like all day, pretty much like in ranked. I'm like, you were the first people that were in a squad for us. You know, I completely wasn't expecting it. And then I played a little bit with TV, and we were finding some good teams. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was good back and forth. Yeah,
I haven't really jumped back into it. I played a little bit of quick play, which quick play might be sweatier than ranked still.
It's so sweaty right now for some reason.
It is incredibly sweaty. We were playing a little bit while waiting for Hovey and Gunga to jump on before I took them through. I helped them go through campaign today, and I'm just like, God, this is. I think I want to play ranked.
Well, that's something that me and Wilson were talking about, because we were like gonna play ranked, and we were like, well, we kind of just want to chill, and so we started playing quick play, and we were like, dang, these people they want that rank to go up. You put a number to it, and they're like, they care, especially. You know, and they talk about this in the TWAB too, but there's like the like a streak system for Valor, which is supposed to be the chill, you know, playlist. And so I'm with you on feeling the sweaties everywhere.
Yeah, but I think for right now and where it's heading to, I think it's all right. I think it's a good thing to implement so far. So I just need to spend more time in it.
Cool. Well, before we jump in completely to the TWAB, I just want to do and if y'all have any last second thoughts on anything un-TWAB related, well, I'm just gonna I just wanted to throw out there that I'd been using the Suros regime, the new one. I think I talked about the Huckleberry last week, and how like you can just go through ads, and that thing is amazing for PvE. But for PvP, dude, Suros is
so good in PvP.
It's crazy. I didn't expect it to be.
So but is that what the Huckleberry is
they both are solid. But I know Tash put out a video, and he's like, Suros is kind of like hit and miss.
Oh, so there's an actual Suros.
Yeah, there's a Suros regime. Suros regime is back.
It's confusing because they do similar things. Like Huckleberry is an SMG, but what it does is it has like a spinning up perk to it where it gets faster towards the end of the mag, but it refills your mag as you go. Suros gets faster. It doesn't refill your mag, but just the amount of damage that it puts out and when it spins up. And then not only that, but if you get the kill, sometimes it has that Suros perk kicks in that regens your health too. And so and not only that, but auto rifles with like a Titan, and you're using Actium War Rig, refills your auto rifle ammo, so you can keep spinning up and keep shooting. So there's like a lot of different ways you can play with it, a little more than you can with Huckleberry, I feel like. And for PvP, it just, Wendler can tell you, it works out so good.
Yeah, Suros has really good synergy right now. The major differences from D1 Suros is if you use spinning up, or we'll just say glass half full for simplicity's sake, it doesn't increase or decrease the mag like it did in D1 for spinning up. Yeah. It keeps the mag at 36 at all times. But the good news is, I know Tash put out a video. He was kind of talking about like if you're using it to rely on health, you'd be better off with Crimson. But the masterwork for it, whenever it comes out, actually increases the proc chance of the health regen.
That sounds so good.
So the health regen will proc more often on kill. And I think Huckleberry, I believe, is Rampage.
Yeah, Rampage. That's
Rampage is Huckleberry, which is really nice for PvE. But yeah.
So the thing that I really like about Suros, which I was worried about, is because everything's so competitive right now with a rank system out and numbers that people are going for. And I was like, man, SMGs and sidearms like Last Hope kill so fast up close. Is the Suros going to be able to compete? And I had a match just last night. I was playing a comp match, and it went down to a 1v1. It was a super sweaty match too, and I outgunned someone using the Suros who was using like a Last Hope or an SMG. I can't remember. It was like they were like on point though, and outgunned him in a 1v1. And I was like, yo, it's really good. Like I don't even know. You just start laying into them and don't hesitate, and it'll follow through for you. It's awesome.
I guess like
weapons.
Yeah, I guess like my final point would be is there's a lot of people right now on Twitter that are like Vigilance Wing and Graviton Lance is meta, which they in the coming month they will still probably be good.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of exotics and there is a lot of exotic catalysts that change these exotics up so much that will put them in the same realm. Like I have my Crimson Masterwork already. And I will tell you right now that Crimson on console is freaking nasty.
I just got it today.
Do you get the catalyst or the exotic?
The exotic. Like I never had the Crimson before.
Even with it without the catalyst, it's good. But when you get that catalyst that boosts the range up to like 100 range.
Oh, is that what it does?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Like it's pretty much turns into a max range pulse rifle, like a grab lance.
So it turns into a Red Death.
Yeah, yes. It's pretty much what it does, and it is great. And like you have all these other things, like Suros will get the health gen, Mida is getting Outlaw on its catalyst. The Sweet Business, which comes with factions, its catalyst, while it's fully spun up, decreases the flinch, and there's one other thing it does, so like you won't flinch
a bunch more in the mag, right?
Yeah, I think it's more in the mag.
Even more in the mag.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of good catalysts that are like Sunshot. Sunshot's catalyst gives it more range and more stability, so it might actually feel good on console. It's already good on PC.
Dude, you hear about Fighting Lion? It's gonna
it increases primary headshot damage.
Yeah, so you can like get the shot off of Fighting Lion,
shot off the ground, and then switch. Yeah. So like you're gonna see like right now, of course, like, and it's not like any of these weapons will be dethroned.
Yeah.
But give it a month, like you're gonna see the meta shift. Like for example, a lot of people are freaking out about the Hunter regen helmet, and they're saying this Hunter regen helmet is so strong right now. But when you see people get Frosties, and people are running bottom tree Arc Strider where they're critically wounded, and you already get your health back, in like a third of the time, or you get your grenade recharge a third of the time. Now you combo that with Frosties. People are going to be trading I'm telling you right now, as soon as I get Frosties, I'm going to be not using that health regen helmet anymore.
That's interesting.
And you got the exotic armor rework coming later in the month too. So there's a lot of things. I think people just need to pump the brakes a little bit. That would be like my final remark. Just pump the brakes and let things go for like a month or two, and then start picking things out and going, all right, this may be a little too strong.
Not only that, but just try out different things right now. Like we're set up in a great place to just like try out different play styles, because that's what I did. I was afraid to take off Graviton Lance or Vigilance Wing.
Actually.
But then like, people next to me are trying Crimson and they're like destroying me with it. I'm like, what's going on? And then, they probably have the Masterwork version of it, or I get Suros and I start using it and I'm like, this is amazing and exactly more my play style than, Graviton Lances. Even though it's really good, you have these different play styles to choose from. You had, Fighting Lion, which Sheik DFP was using to do all his stuff, and just like watching other people and what their play styles are. And you're like, man, there's so many different ways to play right now. And there's like a lot of things that are just really good. And like Wendler said, it's only going to get better. So I'm with you, man. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, just pump the brakes. Like everyone said, just can't repeat enough. Just try new stuff.
Yeah.
Pick a weapon up and use it, and then see how it goes. So,
we're only a couple weeks in,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, the meta is, it's not a fake meta, but the meta debates you in like the first week. Like 3-burst sidearms weren't the meta, and Mida were not the meta the first week the game came out.
Yeah,
I mean, we're still partially in the last meta, and now people are still like getting back into the Graviton Lance, and now they're going to think that's meta because it is a really good gun now.
Yeah, it's not like I said, it's not like it'll be
like you said, there's other potential weapons that you don't even know about or don't even have yet to even try it. Like me, I'm in the boat. I'm missing a lot of weapons still. Yeah, I just now got the Crimson, so I didn't even get that in PvP yet. So,
well, let's talk about this roadmap that we got, and then we'll jump into the TWAB. The roadmap stuff, we already have stuff into this month, May 29th.
Sick.
I know. Faction rally improvements, Crucible Labs, and exotic armor sandbox changes, which, first of all, Crucible Labs, what the heck? Like, we're all like, all of Twitter exploded. It's like, what is this?
It's real.
But so they're letting us in on changes that they're making early, and letting us try it out. That's going to be, and we don't know the details on how that's going to work, but sounds pretty freaking awesome.
I'm very interested.
Yeah, what I have a feeling, like, because Carol tweeted out that it'll be available to all players. That's so what I feel like they're going to do, so I know Goth tweeted Derek for, like, clarification, but what I have a feeling it's going to be is kind of like Fortnite's limited time modes. So they might implement a mode that you can click on PvP and you can test different things. And then as you leave that mode or you download something separate or something along those lines, it'll probably be close to. That's what I would guess.
Which is crazy when you think about the scope of this game. And they've talked about it before on, I can't remember if it was Crucible Radio or DCP or some devs have talked about it before and been like, the scope of this game is like huge, and people talking about like, how could they ever do this? And now they're doing it and it's like weeks away. And you're like, what? They've created a small subsection where your weapons are going to act differently in this world than they do in the rest of the world. That's crazy. Yeah. And then exotic armor sandbox changes too, which we just kind of covered. We're like, man, the sandbox isn't done changing yet. And just in a few weeks, it's going to change even more. Like you said, we got the helmet for the hunters. I feel like this is almost like a preview of like, hey, look how helpful these exotics are. Now just wait till you see what we're going to do with these other exotic armor pieces. So I'm excited for those reworks.
Yeah. It's like they're going more the RPG, here's your role route.
Oh, yeah.
Rather sacrifice and have faster cooldowns with Frosties? Would you rather have a longer Arc Strider super by using Raiden Flux and adding 8 seconds to it? Would you rather have more recovery? Like, if they go more along those lines, I think that's perfect for exotics.
Yeah.
And it's the right move to make.
I'll be honest, I didn't think that I would want a change like that. Like, initially, like whenever I was playing D1, I always felt like, man, I don't want to be forced into an exotic like I was with Twilight Garrison. I was like, that's my playstyle. I have to use Twilight Garrison all the time for that movement because I love doing that. But then now that it's gone and we didn't have that at the beginning of D2 where you could just use legendaries and they were just as good as exotics and it didn't matter. And now that I've had it back with, Crimson, Graviton Lance, all these weapons coming back that mean something. And I even have a Lion Rampant that I always use on my Titan. I'm like, man, I really like this now. I appreciate it now that it's been gone for a little while and we have it back. Like, I like having that play style that's like, this defines me as a Guardian. And it's surprising how much I didn't realize I liked that before. But now I'm like, oh, yes, I love it. Give me that play style.
Yeah, the player choice is important for longevity, which the faction rallies, based on the changes, which you can already view in the Bungie app. So for those that don't know, they're adding a emote exclusive per faction.
Ooh.
So there's one emote that each faction gets. There is a helmet ornament for a specific exotic for each faction. So I think New Monarchy has Knucklehead Radar. There's a Titan helmet for Future War Code, I think, and then there's a Warlock helmet for either way. It's 3 exotic helmets, each with their own ornament. Nice. And then on top of that, there is a specific weapon catalyst per faction. So Dead Orbit has Graviton Lance. New Monarchy, I believe, has the Sweet Business, and then Future War Cult has Sunshot. So there's a little bit more longevity, and that's on top of the seasonal challenges or the seasonal ranking that they're adding with it for loot and stuff. So
all I know is whoever has the Sweet Business one, that's what I'm going for. I'm like, I want what that can do, because I've already previewed it with the changes that they made with all the ammo to that gun, and it feels so amazing to just shoot forever. In fact, I went into Rumble and I was so confused with the sandbox. Like I was like, I don't know what to use. Everything's changed, and I wasn't doing very good with Graviton Lance. I would like hit the first bullet and miss the second one, and everything was moving so fast. I was like, I'm just going to put on this machine gun and shoot forever and shoot anybody that comes my way. And that was the first Rumble game that I won since the new expansion. I'm sure I was just like annoying everyone by just that charging up around every corner, you know?
I forgot the changes to Sweet Business.
Yeah.
And I was saying like before, I think it was like a couple weeks ago, is like, you think it'd be good for DPS and PvE, and yet I'm playing a bunch of PvE and I didn't even get it to go because I'm focusing a lot on light level right now. So I'm just kind of infusing a bunch of stuff into another bunch of stuff. And I kind of just shelved it because I got a brand new one and I shelved it. I'm just like over here. I completely forgot about it. I'm gonna have to give it a go.
It's pretty awesome.
Test it out.
Yeah, there's just the end of this month. Like that's 2 weeks from now. Like we just had this huge update. 2 weeks from now, you're gonna get even more. So it's good.
Very nice surprise, and I'm excited. I hope that with that stuff you mentioned, Wendler, with the specific faction rally stuff you get, I hope that they make it like account specific or something to make it mean something when you pledge that faction. And that's what they said. They said that was their goal, is not that they were going to do that, but that they wanted it to be meaningful who you pledge to. So hopefully we'll see that. Or another thing they can do that I don't know why I didn't think about this before, but they could make there be specific quest lines within those factions. So you could still pledge to each one on every one of your characters if you wanted, but it would be a grind you would have to do on each one of your characters to get that stuff maybe. So you would really have to commit your time to one of those factions, even if you pledge to all of them. Yeah, that would be another way it could work, I guess.
We haven't seen yet, obviously, how to get these exotic ornaments or these catalysts. So that could very easily be what it is. So you can go, fine, make one for each character. Fine. But have fun grinding rank 35 on to get this catalyst you want for your Sunshot, or get this catalyst for your Lance. Regardless, I think it's a good first step from what rallies were. Which were pointless shader farm. That's I hate to be harsh, but that's pretty much what they were, was pointless shader farm.
I only played the first faction rally, and I didn't really have a drive to try any of the others. You guys were going in, you guys kept on asking me what I would. It's like I was telling you, I'd go for this, but I never actually jumped back into it because I didn't have a drive.
It's understandable. There wasn't like new weapon, like they put new weapons in, but they were the same as other weapons in Destiny. They look the same. You just had different shaders to put on them, basically the same perks. There wasn't any standouts other than like maybe the Dire Promise, hand cannon. But even that, like there's the Old Fashioned, which is basically the same thing. So there wasn't those things in the faction rallies before to go for, where it sounds like now they're adding them in.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Okay, so July is the next thing on the roadmap. And here, some really interesting stuff too. We got Solstice of Heroes event, brand new event for the summer. We got bounties, raid lair, prestige modes for both expansion 1 and 2, PC clan text chat, year 1 triumphs, and more exotic armor sandbox changes. So that looks like a ton for not next month, because that's June, but the month after, July.
That's right during Guardian Con, so you have something to look forward to before and after Guardian Con.
Nice, yeah, good pointing that out. Yeah, but Solstice of Heroes event, what do you think that could even be?
Solstice of Heroes.
I honestly have no clue.
Me neither.
I don't know.
Sounds dope, and I hope they capitalize on what they learned from the past 2 events they've done in Destiny.
I would think if it's like an event, as far as like, I'm trying to think, what is the dawning, that would,
well, the dawning or crimson dubs, or crimson, whatever they call it, crimson.
Yeah, because solstice, refers to like summer solstice, winter solstice, like that's what you think of. And so I feel like it's got to be some summer themed kind of event in July. You know, that's the only thing that
like it's the beginning of it's going to be the beginning of summer. So just I don't know something. I really don't know where it's going, honestly.
Yeah,
so.
it'd be they could literally take this anywhere because it's a good thing we have a new event finally.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I think we needed that. Then they're also adding bounties in, which they have mentioned this before. I just thought it was interesting because bounties were something that you didn't really think about. You would just kind of grab before, but they were always interesting activities to do. And I think we even mentioned on the podcast before that something for me that stood out was in year 3, they added the bounties that got you specific weapons. Like if you did hand cannon, kills in the Crucible and completed that bounty, you got a new hand cannon for doing that bounty. I think if they added specific stuff like that had cool rewards, that bounties would be really interesting. Otherwise, it'd just be like, yeah, this is a way to maybe get another special engram from Eververse, faster or whatever.
Well, the big thing, DCP brought it up when they first released the roadmap a month or two ago. And it's like right now you have it's like it goes back to the goal setting almost that this DLC provides, because right now you have no control over, like, if you go into a PvP match, it's like you have to use Void, and like so you have to force yourself to then use Void to get these tokens, whereas you'd be able to choose like you could in D1, and it would provide you a little more like, okay, I don't want to do this one, I'd rather do melee kills.
Interesting. Yeah.
So it kind of goes along with that. And whether that goes to exotic bounties or not, that's still a good thing. So
yeah, that's interesting. I see that.
I think it'll be like something to just kind of take over challenges as well. Like, how you like.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That's what you're going along with that.
Yeah, like when you fly into PvE or PvP and you got those 3 challenges on the side.
Oh, yeah, that you can't even see unless you get into the game, and then you can open it up and see it.
I forget half the time that everything has a challenge. Like I constantly forget.
Like you have your whole loadout set, and then you're screwed because it's void damage, and you're like, well.
You're like, crap, okay.
I'm just always surprised whenever you actually like complete one in the Crucible, you're like, oh, I did something.
You're like, oh, nice.
Okay, so then prestige modes, which they've talked before about making I guess the difficulty match the rewards, and they talk about that later in this too. So I'm hoping that's my main hope for the prestige modes for the raid layer, is that the rewards are worth going in and doing the prestige mode for. I don't really have any thoughts of it other than that though. Year 1 triumphs I thought was interesting that was in here, because that was kind of like record book stuff, right? From Destiny 1.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool if we saw that again. Like, right. I know Hove wasn't a huge fan of it. Mana, how do you Wendler? How do you feel about it?
I thought it was neat. I didn't think it was like the greatest thing ever, but I thought it was a cool thing to have,
Yeah, it was just a little fun thing on the top, like give you something to do to kind of close out while you're in between content drops. I don't think that could ever really be a bad thing. You get a cool, if they keep the same thing, you get a cool emblem if you do everything, and you can buy the shirt, which it's just a cool thing to kind of show off to people. And it's important for the hobbyists. So
not only that, but it's perfect timing for this DLC. We think we're going to be busy for a while with it, but probably around July, if not June sooner, we'll start dying down on the things to do in this DLC. Hit that higher light level, we'll have Escalation Protocol and the raid done. Maybe we're getting close to the rank we want in PvP, and then we get Year 1 Triumphs comes out in July, and it gives us something to do before September, so we're not just sitting around waiting for September. That'll be a nice little injection into the game, I think.
Actually, what would be cool is currently the only armor set in the game that does not have ornaments is the one that is Ikora has. So what would be cool is if these triumphs or milestones, or whatever you want to call them, give you ornaments for that armor set.
Dude, I love that.
I think that would be a really sick idea.
That'd be dope. That'd be really cool. A lot of people want the distress looking one that you get when you lose your light, like have that as an ornament. Because I love that gear for my core. I run that helmet on my Titan. That's like the helmet I use no matter what. I love it.
But that'd be a good way to like throw it back to Year 1, because that's what the armor you started with. That's the beta armor.
That's cool. I like that a lot.
It would come full circle if they go the next step with the triumphs, which I have a feeling they'll do. but we'll see what happens.
So. Like where your head's at, Wendler.
But yeah.
So yeah, we already kind of talked about exotic armor, sandbox changes. Did y'all have anything else to add to that?
Nope.
Just looking forward to it, really.
Yeah. Like I'm hyped to see what they change.
And we already talked about September too with gear collection records. I don't think they've added anything new to this list. We talked about the new game mode, kind of speculated like what that could be later in September, but that's just like a big question mark. We know the whole community's talking about it. The whole community's like expecting weapons to change. The one thing I would say is if you want a little peek into like their goals for that September thing, especially in the weapon slot changes department, John Wisniewski and who was the other guy who was on there on DCP last week? It was
Josh Hamrick.
Yeah, Josh Hamrick and John Wisniewski were on DCP, and they kind of talked about they didn't specifically say anything. They just kind of, whenever people would ask a question that was hinting towards like, I don't feel powerful enough, I want to use my sniper more, they were kind of like, yeah, we're making big changes in September.
Well, the biggest thing people have said is like, if you enjoy Destiny 1 and you like it, or if you enjoy Destiny 2 and you like that, there's like a fusion between both.
Yeah.
Is what like the main thing people have said about the weapon slots.
Yeah. And so, I would love to speculate more on that, but we could honestly probably speculate on what those changes would be for like 2 hours. And we've done it before on the podcast, and I'm sure as time gets closer to September, we'll do it again. So I'm going to kind of leave it there for now because we have more of the TWAB to talk about than just the roadmap. Because I know we could talk about September forever because I'm super excited. The whole community is like ready for something to bust out there. But let's go ahead and jump into the TWAB since we could talk about that forever or talk about weapon stuff forever. With the TWAB, there's three main sections. The first was about PvE, like progression stuff, which we talked a little bit about that grind as far as the getting into the raid and stuff. But the main things were there's progression system changes that are coming May 29th. And those two things that they mentioned are Escalation Protocol key fragments will be guaranteed from heroic strikes, which that, if you don't know, that's what opens the chest for the Escalation Protocol whenever the chest spawns.
Yeah, the level 7 chest, you'll need the key fragments and change those into Bray. Which will give you a little code thing.
Which is confusing because if you don't know that and you do it and you get to the end, you can't open it,
Yeah.
And so I didn't know that, but I happen to have enough of those. I don't know how I got them, but now you can for sure, if you don't have them, you can do, on May 29th, you'll be able to do them from heroic strikes. So that gives heroic strikes more meaning too. And not only that, but heroic strikes will also drop up to 360 light level gear because they're 350 strikes right now and they only drop 340 gear.
Mod, so that's nice. So that's potentially 365 gear right there. You drop another mod on it. So that's good.
Yeah, very good. And they kind of talked about, some of their goals and all of that. Like they realize that the grind kind of comes to a halt once you get to 340 and there's not much you can do other than milestones. And so some of the things they don't have immediate fixes for, but they want to address and be like, hey, we're working on these things, is they're smoothing out. They want to smooth out the in-game transition. Once milestones are over, they know there's not much to chase. And so they know that in-game needs more tiers to it, not just like single do this and that's it. There's like different steps they feel like they need to add in. And then quality of rewards don't always match the activity, which is what we kind of talked about earlier with, or I mentioned with raid layers, like how the prestige mode or even the original raid layer, there's like 2 weapons to go for. And it's like pretty difficult to do a raid, Yeah. So I would think that, I'm just glad to hear them talk about these things openly, whereas previously, Bungie didn't really talk about issues before. And it's nice to see that open communication continue, even if they're not telling us exactly what they're doing. They're giving us some little heads up like, hey, we hear you. Especially on the grind stuff. That was the big complaint I heard out of everything else about the DLC. It was like, whoa, the grind really halts at 340 and all we can do is milestones. What do we do?
Yeah, the only minor thing I would like to see added is Nightfall specific loot be moved into the Heroic Strike playlist.
Just like a minimal chance of getting it or something?
Yeah, just like a 5% chance. And so that way when you come across, for example, the strike that drops the Silicon Aroma, it's like cool, you can get this blue loot at 360, but then there's something more. If that Nightfall isn't up per week, you don't have to feel like you're screwed, and now you have to wait 8 weeks for the Silicon Aroma to come back around. You can just farm Heroic Strikes and keep getting that constant chance of loot to drop on top.
With you. Yeah, so, I think that would be awesome too.
But
yeah.
Everyone's like, yes, thank you.
Yes, we want that. The second part of the TWAB is they talked about the Crucible a little bit, and I'm sure
I'm gonna go on a rant about this.
Yeah, I know, I'm ready for it. Okay, so instead of like normally I'll do like I kind of try to say in little words what they're saying, but I feel like this is too important, I think, and the wording is specific. So I'm just gonna kind of ask these questions that they asked Derek Carroll and read his responses. Basically, I'll just start from the top. There's like 4 questions here. The first one is, why would I match against a player with a higher glory rank than me? And his answer was, for a variety of reasons. We don't match directly on your glory number. Instead, using our per playlist skill value, it's quite likely that your opponent is a good match for you, but they've been grinding glory more consistently, so have moved up the ranks faster. Take this as a sign that you'll likely reach that rank with continued play. This is the one that I probably have the most thoughts about. Wendler, I think I might let you go first, since I know you're itching.
Where do I start?
Well, okay, here I'll start off with just a small thing real quick, and that is I was wondering this exact same thing. Just like last night, I teamed up with Wilson and 2 other guys who were really ranked up, but I was like, Wilson had literally played like maybe 2 games. Like he has ranked like 60 right now. And so I was like, okay, this shouldn't be too bad. We should even each other out, right? No, we go up against a 4 stack that's all like way into Fabled or whatever the 3rd rank is. And we were like, what is going on? Why are these people so much higher than us?
So the main conception here, and if I go too long, I'm sorry. All this kind of branches into like one big picture of ranked with no radar and everything. But in terms of the glory rank, so the best comparison for this would be to fighting games rank system. And at first you may think, why are you comparing fighting games rank system to this? Mm-hmm. But if you talk basic player population, when you have a fighting game, for example, if you look at Tekken 7, very fast, there's a huge drop-off. And if your goal is to get to a specific rank, which is like Mighty Ruler, is what they call it in Tekken 7. And I think there's one above that. But anyways, per the argument or the conversation, as you go up in ranks, there's not the player population to support you climbing that rank. And your queue time is drastically increased. So you go from having 1 minute queue, 5 minute queue, 30-minute queue, 1 hour queue, and you're sitting there.
Oh my gosh.
And you'll never reach that rank. And now, if this was a brand new thing on release for Destiny 2, if Destiny 2 released tomorrow and ranked was coming out tomorrow, a pure MMR-like system like Overwatch, which a lot of people want to compare it to, would be fine because the player population would support the individual grind. But if they were to implement that right now, you have these guys, 1 second kill, Blinks, and all these other guys, TV, that have the Claymore already, they would have hit 1,500 and hit a brick wall in queue time. Because the chances of someone evening out the 30+ hours they put into that point to get there is extremely minimal to everyone else that's at 250, 500. And now you take a Claymore, which is only rank 3 or rank 4, and it's now a reach. You're now struggling to get to that point. Yeah, that is why the MMR system is not there. And to hit Derek's point, when Mana TV and Frankie were playing, we matched a guy in a 4 stack 1,700 rank points, and you could assume, oh God, this is going to be a sweat, and we wiped the floor, and we blew that team out of the water. So I think the other issue is people are looking at rank too hardcore as skill.
Yeah.
And now I'm not dissing anyone that has the Claymore. Like, these are all good players. Yeah. I'm not saying 1 second kill is not a good player. I'm not saying TV is not a good player. But these guys won 86 straight games with the fire team matchmaking down, you know. But that wall of grind was open to them because of this matchmaking. Because you're matching people in your skill. Otherwise, it's not there. It's not you wouldn't get it. People wouldn't have it yet. You know? So that is why.
Huh. Oh, so are you, based off of all that does help me understand it a little bit more and makes a little more sense as to why they do it that way. I know you're obviously not Bungie, but that does help me understand it more. What do you feel like are your thoughts on it and his response to it? Are you like fine with this system? Do you think like it could be done a better way?
I mean, the only way to really repair it to a true MMR system would be if the game was on a fresh release, and unfortunately it's not.
Yeah.
But I think there's just a lot of people, and I mean, you can say, oh, when you say ranked, people come to a certain expectation, but you're playing ranked and you're still getting solid games.
Mm-hmm.
I would much rather match someone with a 1.5 or 2 KD consistently than be stuck in gold. Because the other thing, which TV has mentioned several times, the way the system works, it stops Smurf accounts too. You smash your Smurf, like let's say you want to make a Smurf account, right? Because you're in, we'll say MMR hell, and you're stuck at 950 rank, right?
Yeah.
You go make a Smurf account, throw your KD, you get those tough games, but as soon as you start winning again and you move up in Bungie's system, you're going to hit the same exact wall, and you're not going to pass that point, especially now that Fireteam matchmaking is active. So it's just, there's a lot more variables people are refusing to acknowledge.
Yeah.
Which I think is the main issue.
Interesting.
I would totally love it if it would be a true MMR system, but like I said, I would much rather play and have these games than sit and wait 30 minutes to match someone at 1,500 rank when I'm on the way to the Claymore.
Yeah, especially since we're so far into the game lifespan already. So that does make sense.
Yeah, not only that, but it helps me a lot know that if there's someone that I'm matching against because at first I was like, yeah, I know it's probably skill-based matchmaking that's matching me against these people. But I was like, why isn't it just doing the rank? But now that you've said that, combined with what Derek Carroll said about like, if you keep playing, we're saying that you're like evenly probably up against these
people want placements, right? But it takes like 10 or so games for your skill, and I'm doing air quotes, to get placed in Bungie's system.
Yeah.
And then it'll start matching you with your skill. And the point I was trying to make earlier, I'm not dissing that 1 second kill or TV is a bad player, but you're going to have people you come across that have played a shit ton of games. But that does not mean because they're 1,700 or 1,600 that they are a better player than you.
Yeah.
And sure, you can say, well, at that point, the rank system doesn't matter. It's still a ranked system. You still win, you go up. And when you lose, you go down. I mean, it's close to Halo's 50s. You win, you go up.
It doesn't it, just to play devil's advocate for a second, it does feel a little forced though, doesn't it? If you're still getting matched based off of like the Fireteam skill-based matchmaking and they're trying to find even games for you, then it's like, it doesn't feel like a true... like I'm playing people in my rank, I don't feel that progression of like moving up as much. I just feel like I'm winning half and losing half. Like, I don't know. Does that resonate at all? Or is that?
Yeah, in a bit. I mean, it's not perfect. And I'm not going to say that Bungie's rank system is perfect by any means. But I mean, for what it is, I don't think it's a bad system. I don't. And like I said, I just think people are taking the number and they're blowing it up.
Yeah.
Like, oh God, I'm matching an 1,800. This dude might be a sweaty. Whereas they probably just put in 20 hours and they just happen to win more games than other people did. So they're there. And, maybe there's ways they can refine it in September when the season resets. Maybe there's a way they can go, okay, we're resetting it. And now we're going to a true MMR system. And when you win, like you'll match in your MMR system. That's it. And that'd be sweet. and I wouldn't deny that. But I think right now, I don't think it's a bad thing that this is happening. You're playing ranked. You're going to match skilled people, and that is what you signed up for.
Yeah.
If you didn't want to do that, don't play ranked. If you didn't want to match 4-man teams, don't play ranked or stack teams.
That's the argument that gets me is the like, oh, I'm playing against like these people are running sweaty. They're running 4-sec. Or like people who are mad about that. It's like, yeah, it's ranked. Like people care. Like you're not going to go into ranked not caring.
Like, oh, why is this 4-stack I matched not using a fighting lion? Or why is this 4-stack not using all hard light? Like that's what it is. Like it's ranked.
Yep.
What you signed up for.
Okay, I'm going to read the next one. I do want to get more thoughts from Mana too in a second, but the next one is, why can I match against pre-formed fire teams when I'm searching as a solo player? It says, after a bit of server-side tuning investigation, we re-enabled Crucible Fire Team matchmaking feature yesterday. This does not directly reduce the chances of matching against pre-made fire teams, but it does tweak the skill values of those fire teams to make it more likely that they find evenly matched opponents. So basically, like if you go in solo, you still might match up against a full fire team of 4, but they're gonna like lower, like basically treat your skill as if it was a little bit lower because you're going in with blueberries. So
I think it's a good step forward because I do think I'm not going to deny and say that matching a 4-man isn't an issue, because it is. But at the same time, if you're going into ranked solo, you're a masochist anyway. Like
you're handicapping.
You're insane. So
it's like one of the main complaints I hear right now is though there's a lot of solo players and they want to participate in said thing and they want to go in, and you have the opportunity to go in solo if you so choose. And there's like I hear up until a certain rank, solo playing it's viable. Yeah, you can actually do that. You can actually be successful, and I've been hearing a lot of fun. Until you hit a certain rank, though, then it's just like you might as well just stop trying.
Yeah.
Right now, so it's just like there's a plus, but there's a major negative to it at the same time. So a lot of people are just like this. Right, the next question actually, like solo queue playlist and all that. Going into that, it's like a lot of people are crying out, "Oh, there needs to be." Like what Destiny 1 had for a little bit, no one played it. There needs to be that solo playlist. And it's just like, that's what I'm hearing right now. Like I said, I didn't put a lot of time into Crucible yet. So
I mean, if I'd be all I think that with the solo queue only playlist, like I don't know if there should be that for a team based mode, like I see that people want to do that and like need friends and stuff, but to me that sounds like, well, that should be a free-for-all playlist. Like that should be a ranked rumble.
The issue you run into is just let's make a solo queue playlist, and then you complain because guy on the other team is this KD and the guy you got matched with is this KD, and that's not fair. So
I don't know about that. That could be an issue brought up, but it's just like I think people are more wanting just both teams, everyone solo, the solo potential. And I feel like I don't know that maybe in the future they could do that, maybe it's just like right now it might not be a feasible thing because like it's splitting up the player base even more, and like people are just now coming back into it. Like the player base is still not a great player, but like the numbers. So maybe like what Wendler was saying before, when the game first launched and the player pool is at its biggest, that would have been great. I actually say this a lot. I'm kind of going off on a tangent about the playlist. That would have been the perfect timing to have more playlists, and they missed it.
And then break it down if you need to.
And then yep.
Which makes you wonder, could that we potentially see other playlists when whatever the Taken King style expansion comes out?
I hope. I honestly hoping.
I hope they rotate
more people or attracts even newer people. I hope they do something great, that everyone just go, oh, yeah.
Which we already know we get some new game mode, which hopefully it's not just a rotating playlist and we get it once every, 5 weeks or whatever.
In addition to the rank talk, I just want to take like a minute and talk about radar and the current issue of radar versus radar.
That's such a touchy subject right now.
It is.
Because this is like irritating me on another level. Like I've like in the game's current state, I would say that no radar is better than radar. No radar in the competitive is better than having the radar in quick play. You can tell because the game style between the two is inherently different.
Yeah.
To the point where I enjoy playing competitive 10 times more than I enjoy playing ranked or quick play. The other thing I will state is a lot of people want to talk about audio cues and how there's not enough audio cues in the game. But I would argue the audio cues that do exist are significant. For example, on Vostok and several other maps, there's water puddles, very blatantly placed. And you can hear footsteps. You don't have to boost your audio, but you can hear when a Guardian steps on water. You can hear when a Guardian steps on metal. You can hear when your Guardian steps on ice. And I don't know if that revolves around map knowledge or something around those lines, because there was a clip I saved on Vostok where it was no radar. I think it was like survival or something. I don't remember. But I heard that guy stepping in the water, and I immediately knew, and I snapped to exactly where he was because I knew where the water puddle was. So I think a lot of people are jumping on that. Other people are saying no radar causes passive play. I disagree with that 100%. Because I definitely think my games in competitive have been 100 times more aggressive than the games I've had in quick play.
I think you can afford to be more aggressive too, because you could be running around a player and not even realizing it, but you're still moving, and then you find you can creep up. Like say someone's camping. It was Trials last over the weekend. That map, one of the new maps. There'd be one of the main places where I saw people actually camping. It was like there's that icy caverns, and on the opposite side there is the rocky area. Most teams seem to be camping up there
in the rocks.
And then if you go all the way around, you can come up next to them. You can just see them pointing down at where the heavy would spawn. They would have no idea. If you have radar, they would see you coming. They already know. So I can see where the complaints are coming from with no radar, but I have honestly haven't seen that much camping involved.
I haven't either.
Yeah, it's really weird. I don't know.
I can play the devil's advocate a little bit on that, because I have come across teams that literally will hide in the cracks of the rock that you can't see, that in the corner and wait for you to run by, and then they'll start shooting at you. I played a few teams like that in comp already, but I agree with you. It's not very frequent, and for the most part, it's really aggressive. I do think, Wendler, just that, the statement you made about no radar being better than the radar in the current state, I think that's a preference, and I'm with you in that preference. I agree with you, but I do think I've played with a lot of people that while playing comp, they're like, oh, I just hate no radar. And I understand that, but I'm with you, in personal preference. I think it's more fun without radar.
I got in a little conversation with Monk, because a lot of people are like, no radar causes more passive play. And it's how are you judging if someone's passive? Are you running into market side countdown? That's a very obvious lane. I'm sure everyone can visualize. If a guy is sitting at the end with Vigilance Wing, why are you still pushing it? Does that really make him passive, or are you being over aggressive and overextending? There's a lot of things, and I completely understand if someone's preference is that radar is still better. I would argue too that having even the radar that's half the radius it picks up now would be a huge step forward for overall flow of the game, because it still gives you general knowledge but doesn't make you blind. At the same time, I still think there is a huge amount of map knowledge that people are neglecting and not choosing to do because of how the quick play radar currently exists. The quick play radar does not force you to need to learn any map. So if you strip that away, of course people are going to go, oh yeah, I prefer radar, because you don't know map flow, you don't know map movement, and there's a lot of things you lack. And I'm not saying anyone's a bad player by saying this, but I just think there's a lot of points people are just blatantly neglecting and not choosing to, I guess, learn or understand. Because of the current state, and they're just choosing to pass to the side and not going that step. So
I'm gonna finish reading the next two of these, and then we're gonna move on. We're approaching the 2 hour mark, so I'm gonna try and get through these. The next two questions that He asks, or wait, I kind of already hit the third one, so I'm just going to read the fourth. Why would you place me in a game in progress that you know I'm going to lose, ending my streak? And so they're not talking about competitive. He said there's no join in progress in competitive, so this can't happen for glory. However, we're working on a fix for Valor and the other players, so you won't lose your Valor streak that way, which I think is great that you shouldn't lose your Valor streak that way. But I kind of feel like in Valor, there shouldn't even be a winning or losing streak anyway.
Yeah, same. It's supposed to be the casual players, like go in, and now there's a streak involved, and I just feel like it's much more sweatier.
It makes it feel like trials. Like it's like I'm trying to, I can't lose.
This also made me think of something. When people quit now, there's going to be that penalty system.
Yes,
but if you get disconnected, it also counts as you quitting. So if you get connected twice within however limit long or whatever the system is, I think it was Nava Bear got disconnected twice earlier sometime. And he was kicked out of competitive for 30 minutes.
Dang.
So
I haven't been banned yet, but I played with Anger overseas in Resolute the other day, and he accidentally backed out of, sorry, I'm throwing you on the bus, man, but this is too funny. Because you know how competitive, they have two different game modes, and this is really confusing, actually. You have one game mode that goes to 4, survival. You have another one that goes to 6, countdown. And so we were just playing survival so many times in a row that when it got to countdown, it got to 4, and he was like, okay, I'm out. And I was like, wait, don't. And he like backed us out, and we left the game with only 4. And so we lost. And then it gives you like I can't remember the exact number, but it felt significant, like negative 50 points on your rank or something like that.
Really?
And I was like, holy crap, like that sucks, but it was cool. We'd been playing for so long, it didn't really matter. But it was just like, oh my gosh, like that. It sucks to mess up and leave early. And it's kind of confusing with the game modes. And I've seen a lot of teams in comp leave like the game in the middle of the game. And I'm like, why are you leaving? Do you not understand? Maybe people will get it eventually, but there's a lot of teams that I faced that were leaving in the middle of a comp match. Did y'all face that at all?
Early on in ranked, we did, and I think because me and TV were going back and forth on it, and I think it's just early on when you play, you're at that low skill level or that lower MMR skill rating, so you'll come across a lot of those types of players because a lot of the games, like when me, Mana, and TV and Frankie played, we didn't come across, I don't think, one team that backed out in like 24, 25 games.
Well, they want to beat Rezo, So.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I mean, I think early on when you do it, you'll probably see it more as you grind up. It'll probably slow. At least I hope.
Yeah,
you'd think
you would
slow down.
You would think
it would not exist, maybe. Like, but yeah, the first day that we tried rank, it was like, it was a joke. We were just finding people on their own, not knowing we were just flying through ranks the very first day, and people would be backing out. They'd be leaving, and then we'd just be like, is this real rank? Like, is this what we're going to do? And hopefully it's just because like it was early on and maybe they weren't aware of the system that was implemented, and now they're like, oh, wow, I'm now banned from the playlist for like however long. And so like hopefully more and more people start realizing that's there, and you just eventually stop seeing people backing out. And then like you said, it's just like if people didn't realize and they back out, and then there's like, I don't know, there's a certain amount of confusion and maybe like just like people unknowingly doing stuff, and it's just like getting banned. It's just like, oh crap,
Yeah.
So hopefully we start seeing less and less.
I think so. Yeah. So last thing we got on the TWAB, Iron Banner's coming back May 22nd. Returning with new rewards and a new system. It's the same like ranking system where you can buy stuff as you turn in faction reward or turn in tokens to get your rank up. It actually shows the rank on the top now, and they're putting more stuff in there other than just the weapons. It's got like the ornaments, the weapons, the emblem, a ship, like a whole bunch of stuff. And they're showing off some of the guns, all new armor ornaments for all the classes.
Armor, the Titan looks like Shredder from like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I thought Shredder too.
Yeah, the armor
straight up is what I thought.
Sick.
Dude, I like the Hunter armor a lot. It looks really cool.
The weapons, I'm like actually reviewing the weapons right now. and the weapon perks. The hand cannon actually looks like it might be viable.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Okay, so you're looking at the weapon perks. I didn't look at the perks
Yeah.
because obviously that's not in the TWAB. Did you see what the SMG is? Is it
the SMG's a 900? It's meh.
I was hoping it was
nothing
600.
special. Yeah, it's got 900 dynamic sway reduction, accurized rounds.
Tell you what, sniper rifle looks sick though.
Yeah, the sniper rifle is a highest impact.
Yeah.
It's got snapshot scope on it, not snapshot the perk, like the small scope. The two guns I would pick would be the hand cannon, the sniper, and maybe the sidearm.
What about the AR? The AR looks like a Velikadin kind of like.
If you like it, it's got high caliber rounds and auto loading holster.
Ooh, dang,
might be good. Because that type of weapons, just like a kind of like a weird merge of SMG and AR, and I kind of like it.
It kind of is, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, dude, man, if you like that, you're gonna love Suros.
Really?
It feels like an auto rifle at first, and then as you get towards the end of the clip, you're using an SMG basically.
SMG.
Yeah.
I need to get some of these new weapons. Damn it!
You better grind this week, bud.
I've been grinding, bud.
I think the main thing I want to take from Iron Banner is having like the ship at the end there. It was really cool to me to see like you can work towards earning your rank to buy the ship rather than just getting lucky with the Ingram drop. And I think that's great. It's probably going to be pretty high. I was looking at the screenshot that they put and it shows seasonal reputation at 35 for the player who's inspecting it. And I'm just going to take a guess that 35 is the rank you need to be at to get the ship, because why would they, like, I feel like for the demonstration purposes, they were like, okay, well, we need to show a rank that shows everything, and they pick the rank that needs to be. So I'm going to take a guess. That's 35. Fingers crossed. But, it seems like a lot for the first Iron Banner, but you have to remember this is for season 3. Like, overall, you're going to have like 3 or 4 chances at getting all this. So should work out pretty well.
Yeah.
And they talk a little bit about the companion app here. I think the one highlight is, things are coming later on, but the one thing that I wanted to bring out from that part of the TWAB is they talked about vendor accessibility and from the app, which I didn't even know was a thing. Like,
yeah, that's how people saw the faction vendors, because you can just go to the app right now and see everything that they have. And
they put out a point. Well, they said that you'll be able to like actually, like, I feel like interact with the vendors. They said something about that in here, and it was like a lot of people don't know you can even do this. And so we're going to be changing the way it looks so that people know that you can interact with vendors within the app. Because I didn't know that. So it sounds interesting to me. But yeah, just wanted to point that out. And I think that's it for this week. Do y'all have anything else y'all want to throw out there before we take off here?
Nope.
I can't think of it if I had one.
Hove, I'm sorry to disappoint you. This is a clean cut podcast.
Yeah, he's not going to watch this one. He's sobbing. He's probably sobbing right now. He's like
sobbing in Las Vegas right now.
It's just like just his heart right now. He's like, wait, the podcast. I'm not derailing anything.
There's no Mad Libs. What do I do?
He's like, wait, let me call Lego. I need to call Lego live on the cast right now.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for listening and joining us on your podcast app, on YouTube, everywhere. This has been Lego Le Flash, Lego, aka Lego Le Flash. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, all those places at Lego LE Flash. Mana, where can they find you, man?
You can find me on mainly Twitch, Twitter at the Managator, and then I'm still working on the YouTubes. And everyone's been ripping me apart about that one. Eventually, YouTube's all at the Managator or just Managator. If you type in Managator, you'll find me. How about you, Wendler?
You can find me on Twitter at Wendler34 because I'm not cool enough to get rid of the 2 numbers yet. And on Twitch, you can find me at Wendler. And also, mini shout out to Inexorable Ace for the beautiful rebrand and redesign on everything. If you need anything, make sure to check him out on Twitter at Inexorable Ace.
Hey, is that your new W that you have up right now?
That is.
Dude, it looks awesome. I really like it.
Slick.
The starting soon screen is probably my favorite, which I showed.
Check it out.
Yeah,
I seen it.
I seen it.
It looks odd.
Ace is a legend.
What Ace has done, it looks sexy.
Go check Wendler out, y'all. Go watch him play some comp. Show everyone how it's done. And you can also find Rezocast at Rezocast on Twitter, rezocast.com. We got some cool new stuff coming up, not just with giveaways, but we might be doing some Discord stuff soon. I might not be supposed to talk about that, but I am. And then also Team Resolute. Find them at Team Resolute on Twitter. If you enjoyed the episode, we'd love for you to give us a review on iTunes or leave us a comment on YouTube or just tweet at us at Rezocast. And also, this podcast is sponsored by Blue Microphones and Headphones. Seriously, these microphones are just the best. I've been using other microphones recently, and these ones freaking rock. So if you're looking for something and need a discount code, they are just as much on their website. Like the cost is the same as like on Amazon. So go to the website, use promo code RezoCast for 20% off. It's like a great deal. Do it. And I think that's it for this week. Until next time, guys. GG.
GG's. Hillary.